Hello, my name is Mitch and I draw Blood Force, and today we're going to do some housekeeping. We're going to do some catching up, but first we're just going to do a quick promo. So every video I start off by saying, hello, my name is Mitch and I draw Blood Force. You probably just heard it. And in case you weren't sure, this is Blood Force. Blood Force is a comic book I'm creating. It is a celebration / send-up of 90s extreme comics. And the first issue is complete. We're just kind of in limbo while I get the funds together for publication. And if you'd like to speed up that process, what you do, you go to the link in the description that will take you to my Patreon. Subscribe there, because I need your help in order to get this thing over the finish line. And warm fuzzies from helping a comic creator are not all you get by subscribing to my Patreon. You also get access to the entire Blood Force library, which is growing by the week, as well as all these videos and some exclusive content. So subscribe today, and soon we'll all get the Blood Force comics we've been waiting for. Thanks very much for listening. Now we'll get back to your regularly scheduled video about speed lines and shit. Alright, so first thing we're going to mention, of course, would be the cover date. I did mention it in the first Cyberforce video I did. Cyberforce number 1 released October of 1992. Cyberforce number 2 released March. So that's a 6-month wait for the second issue of your series. And if we recall, issue 1 didn't sell that well. This is all relatively speaking, of course. Issue 1, compared to the other Image books at the time, including Brigade, which sold over 800,000 copies. I was almost about to say a million. I don't think it was a million. I think it was like 825 in that area. Yeah, Cyberforce number 1 sold 750, probably because of just how late on the release schedule it was. I don't know. And we'll again, we took a look and saw that he was sticking around on Wolverine for a while, just wrapping up some unfinished business, I guess. But it doesn't seem to have helped him out here. And I mean, he did take 6 months for a second issue. So maybe that wasn't all of it. I don't know. So, starting off, let's go right into it. Decent cover. This feels like, there's like classic X-Men covers with the guys lined up on either side of each other, and they're like pointing, and they're like they're gonna attack each other, that kind of thing. But you can see the sides, and you can see who's gonna be fighting whom. It kind of feels like that, only jumbled, and there's not a lot of focus. Fair amount of color though, a little bit more color than the last one. We're still not going super vivid. Well, maybe not. Kind of the same. And we've got, I think, the same cast of the supporting cast on this one. Yes. Although we don't have all the optics specifically. No, we do. No, everything's the same. So that's good stuff. We're picking up right where we left off. So that means, if in terms of the look of it, that's probably a great thing. Mark's going to be doing the pencils and the inks. That does cut him some slack on the schedule. But again, I have to ask why. Why don't you just get Dan Green? Maybe he doesn't want to come over. Maybe he doesn't. He thinks Marvel's a safer bet. I don't know. But there's got to be, dozens of inkers you could hire that would shorten your schedule, right? I don't know. So yeah, the art's going to look great. The colors are going to look probably muted and make it all a bit too dark considering the subject matter. And the writing's going to be kind of meh. Not great, not terrible, probably. Actually, I think there are a couple of spots where it is terrible. We'll see. So we're starting where we left off in the last one, with Velocity had been taken in by Cyberforce, or specifically, I suppose, Timmy and Chip, and their anthropomorphic cyborgs, or androids, or whatever they are. And this looks a little X-Mansion-y. we're not doing a great job of getting away from the X-Men, are we? And yeah, so that issue ended with the Shocks attacking. Can I remember the names? Buzzcut, Ballistic, Killjoy, Megawatt, and Psychotron. I think. Oh my God! I think I got him. That's amazing. I don't think I have a tendency to mix up Psychotron and Megawatt too. And yeah, so we see right off the bat here the colors are kind of the same as last time, where they're muted and they're too serious for the subject matter. Although I do this a lot, don't I? Where it's like this. Although, you know, obviously Mark Silvestri wants this to be, I don't know, like a grim and gritty version of X-Men with some of the stuff that was in the first issue. But then you got guys in these costumes, you know, like purple and yellow and silver and blue and red, and you know, but it's all muted and yeah. And then you get a weird thing here. I don't know what happened there. It feels like an experiment almost. Or I don't know if somebody missed it. It's the weirdest thing. Because I mean, obviously this can't be intentional. They did do they did initial separations on the background. I guess that's what this is. And then they maybe just forgot to drop in the other layers, including the lettering. Like the lettering isn't whited out or anything. It does have an interesting effect where you can see sort of unaffected Mark Silvestri art, so that's cool. Like it's almost black and white. The color does get very dark, so it's a little difficult to break it up. But that's something. But yeah, I don't know what the hell happened there. So Velocity takes off because that's her power, and Killjoy's going to go after her, but not before she monologues a little bit. And these are more realistic, outlandishly clad super people. So she's going to chastise her for monologuing here and then throw a knife at Velocity's calf. So she's super fast, but not like outrunning a thrown implement kind of fast. So maybe like cheetah speed. I don't know if you could throw anything at a cheetah and actually hit it when it's in like full flight. It seems unlikely. And you get these kind of great Mark Silvestri tech hauls. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. I should be stealing this stuff. Look how random all this stuff is. He just draws a shape, and then another shape, but that somehow seems sci-fi. And then he just kind of fills it in with this. That's the stuff, the fill-in stuff. And then we got a big old double page splash, which looks great. There is a bit of like, where the fuck did you come from? So, okay, this is the, I guess, well, this is the Cyberforce HQ, I guess, right? If that's where Timmy and Chip were. Okay, and we got the tech halls. It didn't really seem like it at first, but yeah, okay. That makes some sense then. So yeah, we get our big spread. Everybody gets a shit ton of real estate on the page, except for Sideblade. No girls allowed in the big splash page. This is just great drawing. You know, like in terms of 90s bombastic, you know, action drawing. That's just great shit. And then we're going to get right into it. And it's going to be the bulk of the issue. We're going to stretch across the page, which is nice. And this is, again, that cover shot. Only done a bit more properly, where you get the forces clashing instead of just mixing it up. Mixing it up is a bit more realistic, maybe. That's kind of what he was going for. I don't know. You get this thing here where, see, Sideblade's in the mix now, so I don't know why she was left out of the double page spread. Just maybe forgot. Or maybe he thought this was more emphasized than it was. Because, I mean, she does get kind of framed, but, you know, like nobody's looking there. you're looking at Ripclaw, who's taking up half of 2 pages, you know. And you get the thing here where Killjoy's leaping around her, I guess, like she's in kind of slow motion. And I always love this shot here. That's a great, you know, flying and shooting pose. Silvestri does this stuff just effortlessly. And, you know, there's not a lot to comment on here. This is just Marc Silvestri drawing fights, which is, you know, what we want to see. We get, and, you know, mixing up guys, which Cyberforce guys are taking on which shocks. So we get Sideblade versus Killjoy and Ballistic. Killjoy and Ballistic seem to be the main ones. And then Impact. And some cringy dialogue. And again, it kind of clashes with some of the subject matter and the colors and just the general vibe that's being presented. Where this guy seems almost like a surfer dude. And just, you just because you got 4 arms doesn't mean you get to go out with 2 girls at once. And Striker's like, no, man, I'm just warming them up for you. Go get them, Tiger. Ooh, that's pretty bad. And Ripclaw versus Buzzcut. Buzzcut's a pretty lame name for a giant dude with all sorts of buzzsaw implements. Oh, implements is the word of this video. I don't know that this needed a 2-page spread. This to me feels a little, I don't know. It feels a little bit cynical because I know they draw, at this point they're drawing and keeping in mind the resaleability. So, I mean, as a 2-page spread, it's pretty cool. Not as cool as that first one, I guess. And would probably get you more selling it again than just a single page. And, yeah, so Ballistic gets the drop on Velocity. Striker gets the drop on Ballistic. Talks about her boobs. And Megawatt gets the drop on Striker. So that's how fights go. People just constantly surprising people and ambushing them. And then Heatwave, whose name I can actually remember. I'm almost sad. Gets Velocity out of there. This is a shot I've seen a pose I've seen multiple times in this issue. I don't know if anybody else would try this pose at Image at this time. Like, you'd think Jim Lee, but I can't think of a Jim Lee pose that's like that. Oh, see, there's one right there. No. Kind of like that one there. Oh, the coloring was a little off there. Get it here. Not really there. And again, there's once or twice more in the issue here. Yeah. Yeah, and again. So this is like a go-to. It's like a shortcut for him. It works. You know. Again, I just don't know if anybody would try to pull it off. It's interesting seeing the little quirks that certain artists have. Because you know at this point, it was 1992, he started drawing in like 1980, well, he started at Marvel at like 1985, 86, I think. So you know, and there was that period where he was producing at least an issue a month, sometimes 2. So you know that he's just been honed to a point where a lot of this is just shortcuts. It's like, I know this texture works, I know this is how I do hair in this spot, I know this pose works, you know, this effect for whatever, you know, impact or a blast or, you know. So he's been able to work out a whole bunch of kinks, and so this just kind of feels like a shorthand thing. And so he gets him out of there. Kind of a weak panel with Cyberforce attacking the shocks again, and the Shocks have decided that to cut their losses and just take off at this time. And Cyberforce gets to try and clean up. And Timmy, the cyborg boy, android boy, I guess more android, is sad because the android cat got injured. Okay, so then we get some operatives. It doesn't say exactly who they are in this, but you get the impression they're FBI or CIA or some made-up version of those where they're government employees. And this is the Cyberforce HQ, where the entrance is all super high-tech and is through this old garage. Okay, so that's that. Then we get introduced to another kind of team of B-tier villains. They're just their own little group. This is Slam, Wildfire, and Splitscreek. And yeah, there's that pose again. And yeah, I gotta, obviously Mark Silvestri knows this character is ridiculous. Where, you know, it's conjoined twins, and one half is German, and one half is, like, not even British, like Cockney. And the German half has a swastika tattooed on his face, and they've broken into Megasoft Research and Development. I'm not sure what that is at this point. And stolen 2 hard disks. So I mean, that's like somebody's, you know, that's like 3 photos. And the agent guys are going to try and convince Stryker to infiltrate into Mother May I's terrorist cell, because she's telepathic and she can convince people to do what she wants. So she's sort of organized a resistance cell. And they're going to give him this chip to sort of make him tougher to read or make it seem like he's got the right messages, that kind of thing. And then we get an example of how bad the Cyberforce writing can get, where Velocity and Timmy, yes, are grocery shopping. Velocity drops an orange, Timmy runs after it, and the guys who almost run over them are that little B-tier group of villains. And they decide to kidnap Velocity and Timmy, because that makes sense. You wouldn't just pull away. I mean, it's 1992. I don't think there's any traffic cams. Nobody has a phone with who's going to record you. Just fuck off. You know? But you got to get him in the back of the van so that Timmy can read the data on the disks. And then it turns out that Psychotron, gotcha, and the Shocks have tracked them. I think they're still trying to track Velocity and Timmy at this point. And pretty good last panel to end on. And ooh, we're going to see Pitt in the next one. I'll bet that'll be exciting and an imaginative matchup. And kind of low effort letters page. Scriber Force. Okay. And some fan art. Fan art's always cool. I was going to look at these to see if there's anybody that turns into somebody. There's that one in Savage Dragon, I think number 3, that would turn out to be J. Scott Campbell. Man, they must have paid for this ad. You know? Like, why would you do that? Anyway. So that's it for Cyberforce number 2. Decent amount of fighting. Cool artwork. Lame dialogue. And extremely contrived plot twists. That's what we got. So yeah, I think I am going to break this up. It looks like it's, because the first episode here was around 20 minutes. I think And the next one is probably going to be comparable, 15 or 20. I don't want to make a 45, 50, 60-minute video about Cyberforce. I don't think anybody wants to sit through that. So we'll break it up a bit further, and I'll just release them over the course of the week. Like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, something like that. Works for me. All right. Yeah, so join me in the next one. In the meantime, follow me on Twitter so that you can, be notified when the next one's going to be coming out. What if I change my mind? What if it's not Wednesday next time? Hit like and subscribe and the notifications. That's another reminder. You need these reminders in your life. And I'll see you guys in the next one.